So I think it's time to get started. Um, and this evening, um, I'm very sorry to start with some very sad news. Many of you may already be aware of this, but this morning we learned that Paul Harris, who was an organist and musician in Nain, died overnight. Paul was a wonderful musician, a really fine player, and a true repository of the tradition of Moravian music for Nain and for across the coast. Um, Paul, since John Jerussi has left the community to be in long-term care, Paul was the last organist who carried that tradition with him on the coast, and so his departure is an enormous loss to the communities and especially to those people who are with us in Nain, many of whom are closely related to Paul. I know that many of you know Paul much better than I did, but I had the privilege of spending time with him while I was staying in Nain. Time with him. He was a very gentle and quiet man, and the best times with him were times when we were alone in the choir loft, and he would play hymns for me and talk to me about what they meant to him and what they meant to his community. I think my most vivid memory of Paul was not when he was at the organ, but he often also played the violin. And he had every one of those hymns in his heart and in his ear and in his soul. But he would always play them looking out the back window from the upstairs in the church, as though the music came to him from across the landscape. And I think it did. And I think probably now that music is with him in another place. Um, he's a great loss, and I offer, on behalf of all of us, our sincerest condolences to his relatives and many, many friends and the entire Nain community. He will be much missed. Um, we'd like to start as we have in recent nights with a prayer, and the prayer that David read last night that celebrated the importance of music in the Moravian tradition, I think moved a number of us very much. So we're going to repeat that prayer again tonight. Diantha is going to lead us in it, and it'll give us a chance to reflect on the gift of having had Paul Harris in our lives for as long as we did. Diantha?
Most gracious God, we give you thanks for every good gift. On this day especially, we thank you for your creative gifts to us, which cause us to enrich our lives and experience through words and music. For you, O Lord, have made us glad by your work. At the works of your hands, we sing for joy. We thank you especially for your gifts to the Moravian Church, devotion to the Savior, simplicity, a strong sense of community and fellowship, and a long-standing dedication to spreading your love. We thank you for our musical heritage through which we draw closer to you and to one another. Inspire and bless those who write and compose, those who play and sing, those who lead and teach. As you have helped us through the centuries to sing our faith, so move within each one of us today that all our gifts may unite in your service. May the God of steadfastness and encouragement grant us to persevere to live in harmony and beauty with one another. Amen.
Amen. We'll begin tonight, as we have each night, singing together. And tonight we're going to sing Enoch, that wonderful, wonderful hymn for Palm Sunday. Now, if we sang all 11 verses, we'd be singing until Palm Sunday. So we're going to sing, I think, the first 5 verses. And we're fortunate again to be led by Benny Italak, who recorded this for us. So Michelle is going to cue up the recording. And if you have the yellow hymn book handy, it's number 9B. If you don't, we'll have the words posted on the screen so you can join along. Don't forget to mute. Nakomik Benny. That was lovely. That was lovely. Okay, we're going to get launched right into the class now in just a minute. But I've got a couple of announcements, and I'll also reserve some discussion for the end of our meeting today to talk about what happens next week and the weeks after that. So while I'm making announcements, David suggested, and so why don't you watch David instead of me, that we do some warming up, practicing, loosening things, and I'll run us through a few announcements while we're doing that, okay? So David, you choreograph this, please. Okay. In the email I sent around today, I asked you to complete a survey, one question survey, as to whether or not you're interested in pursuing the breathing through theory. I know that some of you had problems answering that survey because it seemed to require a registration through Gmail. So if you weren't able to respond to that, just pop me an email and simply let me know yes or no if you'd like to participate in the Breathing Through Theory online music theory program. Like I said, it's not going to cost you anything. It's very flexible. You get a chance to pace yourself. You can do it on your own time. So if you think it's at all useful, please, please, please say, yes, I'd like to have that, and we'll get you signed up. One of the things that we noticed last night was there seems to be a little bit of confusion about the way we use numbers. People often say that music and mathematics, if you're good at mathematics, you're good at music. That might be true. I'm not entirely sure. But the one big difference is, although we both use numbers, music and math, math uses lots of numbers. Music only uses never more than about 7. The problem is we use them to mean a lot of different things. So far in our group, we've used numbers to number our fingers. We've used them to number the members of a chord. We'll certainly be using them to name the numbers of scale notes. And before long, we'll use them to count the numbers of beats. Unfortunately, they're all the same 4 or 7 numbers. So if we confuse you by saying 1 or 3 or 5, and you can't tell if we mean finger number 1 or chord member number 3, make sure you raise your hand and say, can you be clear about that? Okay. So it's a small number of numbers, but we use them lots of ways. I completely understand if it gets confusing. Stop us if we're confusing you with those numbers. Okay. I think those are my announcements. Kelly, David, Deantha, Michelle, any announcements from you?
Well, we have a birthday tonight.
Oh.
So maybe we could all sing happy birthday to David.
Okay. We could even do this with our mutes off. It'll be a real wonderful
It's
cacophony.
fantastic when everybody unmutes and sings happy birthday. And I'm going to record it for him so he will have a memory of what it felt like to have a birthday and to have people sing to me on my birthday during this time. So everybody, if you can unmute, and I promise I'm going to sing really loud.
Good.
Okay. So we're going to start here. When the time goes. Ready? 1. Oh, I got to get my video ready. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday.
Happy
birthday
to you.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
dear
David.
Happy birthday to you.
Yay.
Thanks,
I don't know
everybody.
if
The
Dave.
best Zoom choir ever.
don't know if David knows this, but David shares a birthday with Vivaldi.
Yes, I did know that. Yeah.
Great.
I'd forgotten
All
that.
right. If nobody else has announcements, we can slip over to the birthday boy, and we're going to work on a new tune tonight, I think.
We are going to try that. Nakamik, everyone. That was wonderful. How marvelous to have a choir from all over the province, as far away as we can get from each other. It's quite marvelous that we can do this. Isn't that cool? And we're going to make some more music together tonight. We've already sung the piece that I want to start with tonight. And I thought what we might do is I'm going to share my screen. Actually, I won't do that first. We're going to start with the left hand. And I thought what we would do is start with the left hand and just get some sense of fingers in the left hand working well. So I'd like you to hold your left hand up to the screen, please. And remember that, again, with these numbers that Tom was talking about, we're numbering fingers. And we'll just remind ourselves that that's finger number 5. And that's finger number 3, and that's finger number 1, and then 2 is in between 3, and 4 is in between 3 and 5. So we can wave at each other again. So let's wave with our third fingers. Very good. Let's do this. Let's do a pattern that goes 1, 1, 1, 1, 5, 4, 4, 1. So do that with me now. And you can just imitate my fingers. I'll hold it up to my camera. 1, 1, 1, 5, 4, 4, and 1. I'd like you to do that while I play what that's going to sound like. So you're going to do that with your fingers in the screen, and I'll play it. Marvelous. That looked fabulous. Let's do that. There's my dog barking. She says she likes this song. Nelly. I don't know what happened. I think maybe somebody's at our door. Anyway, we'll do it again. So use your fingers. That's good. 1, 1, 5, 4, 4, 1. You know, she's barking along with the song. That's good. Nelly, stop. Shh. Now, can we try this? Can we go 4, 1, 2, 2, 5? I'll do that again. 4, 1, 2, 2, 5. And now I'm going to play that while you do it. You ready? 4, 1, 2, 2, 5. I'm going to do that again. 4, 1, 2, 2, 5. Good. Now go 1, 4, 4, 4, 4. Okay. 1, 4, 4, 4, 4. And I'm going to play that while you do that. 1, 4, 4, 4, 4. So we're now sort of coordinating what that's going to sound like with what our fingers are going to be doing in a minute. So now what I would like to have you do is find your piano, and we're going to, and I'll turn on my piano here so you can see my hand. There we go. And maybe Michelle can make that keyboard a little bigger now. I'm not sure if she can do that or not. Or if you want to pin that keyboard, you can do it. In any case, you can probably see my left hand here. I'm going to ask you to find the F note. That's the group of 3 blast keys. And then the F note is where your thumb is going to go. It's going to be this pitch here. Now let's just practice playing with our left hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to walk down the keyboard. So the first finger is the highest one now, and then the 5th finger is the lowest one. Let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you play that 5 in this case, can you use the B flat? That's the black key, okay, the one that's down there. So what we're now playing is a 5-finger pattern that has the B flat, the B, on the bottom. Is that okay? Can you all just put your thumbs up if you understand what I mean by that? So the B is on the bottom, and you're putting your 5th finger on that note. Is that okay? All right.
Can I ask why you're using the black key?
I'm using the black. That's a great question. I didn't actually see who asked that. Can you just tell me who you were? Or
Darlene.
Darlene, thank you. Thank you for asking that, Darlene. So yes, so Darlene wants to know why we're using that. This black key is part of the what we call the scale, or the keyality, the key of F major. And you'll notice your thumb is on that F chord, that F note. And when Kelly was talking about triads last night, they kind of give a sense of what the key or the harmony is going to be within a particular melody. And this B flat belongs to the harmony of Inuk in this place that we play it. I think that's all I'll say for now. It's just part of the key we're in, if you like. It's sort of like, you know, if you're going to wear a sock, then you put a shoe on as well. It kind of, they just go together in some way, but while we're in that. But if you go around bare feet, then you might do it in another way. Maybe that makes sense in some way. So, yep, we've got this B flat. Let's play that 5-note. Yep.
Sorry to interrupt. We lost your keyboard.
Oh,
They left the meeting.
oh, so they did. I wonder why. Okay, I will see if I can get them back here. Hang on a minute. I think I know what happened. I think I ran out of little glitch. Well, you can continue to play.
While
Your
David
5-note
is bringing his keyboard back, why doesn't everybody start with your thumb on the F and walk down F, E, D, C, B flat. Try that again. F, E, D, C, B flat.
Thank you, Tom.
And now let's try this. F, 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 B flat. Try that. F, 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 B flat. Got that? Thumbs up if you got that. Yep. Okay. Excellent. All right.
So that's very good. And so you've now learned the first little part of, or we're now going to be able to play the first little part of Enoch in the left hand, the bass part. So I'll play it again. That's 1, 1, 1, 5, 4, 4, and 1. So you're in that B flat pattern, and those are the fingers you use. 1, 1, 1, 1, 5, 4, 4, 1. Let's play that together.
Can we
Okay.
see your keyboard, David?
I'm just about to get
Okay,
there.
Sorry.
Give me a mo here.
Sorry.
So we'll all play it together first with just by ear. Here we go. 2, off we go. And now I'll show you that. You won't be able to see me at the same time, but I think you can see the camera. So here we go. 1, 1, 1, 1, 5, 4, 4, 1. And you can probably see that I've got my fingers kind of in between the black keys a little bit. So that means it's a little easier to find that B flat there. If you want to play right out here, it's okay, but it means you then have to kind of reach with your arm. So it's good to just be up in there, and that's a nice place for your fingers to be. Let's try it again. The first line, 2, off we go. 5, 4, 4, 1. Now what I'm going to ask you to do is now replace that thumb. I'm going to ask you to put your 4th finger right there. And that's a technique that we often use playing the keyboard, where we're trying to play what's called legato, or very smooth. Last night, if you were there a little early, you got to hear Benny play her version of Sur la Lauret, and it was really, really beautifully smooth. That's because she's such a good singer, and she sort of understands how to make something sound smooth. And on the organ, we want to try to do that. That's something we'll continue to work on over the next few weeks as we get together again. So one way of helping things be smooth is to use what we call a finger replacement. So I'm going to go with that first part. 1, 1, 1, 1, 5, 4, 4, 1. And now I'm going to move my 4th finger to where that was, so I can help that be really smooth eventually. And then I go this way, 4, 1, 2, 2, 5. Let's try that. 4, 1, 2, 2, 5. So now we're in a new pattern where the bottom note here is the E, and that's where I'm going to sit my 5 fingers now. So let's just try that. 4, 1, 2, 2, 5. And the 5 is the E. Here we go. 4, 1, 2, 2, 5. And I'm still using that B flat up here because that's in this piece of music. That's in this key. One more time, that bit. And we go. 4, 1, 2, 2, 5. Now, I'd like you to go back to your thumb being on the F, and we're going back to that B 5-finger pattern. And now we simply play 1, 4, 4, 4, 4. That's very nice and easy to do once we get there. So try that. 1, 4, 4, 4, 4. So do you want the good news? Thumbs up if you do. The good news is we've finished moving now. We're not going anywhere else. This piece of music is really nifty. I love that word in the prayer about simplicity. And that's one of the beautiful features in my, as I've come to know these hymns. They are very simple in the way they're constructed. And there's a certain elegance and a certain beauty in that. I think you see that in your churches, and I think we see that in the liturgy, and here it is in the hymns. So we started in that B flat pattern, and we went away for a little while to another pattern. And now we're coming back to that B pattern again, and we're just going to stay there. It's that simple. It's just a little journey somewhere else for a while, and back we go. So let's start at the beginning again. 1, 1, 1, 1, 5, 4, 4, 1. Go for a little, just up the hill. Then we're going to go 4, 1, 2, 2, 5, and then back where we came from. 1, 4, 4, 4, 4. I'm going to show you what that looks like in the score while we do it. Should be able to see that now. And I think you can maybe see my keyboard as well somehow. So let's see what happens. I'm now playing then from this F, and that's where my thumb is. First note I'm going to move to is from that F, 4 Fs in a row, and then down here to the B flat, and then up a step, next door, 4-finger, and back up to the F, the thumb. Very elegant. Now, do I have a question there?
Sorry, it's just Michelle. Sorry to bother you. Could you close out of the prayer so that we can see this a bit bigger?
Close out of the prayer. I don't know what you mean.
The prayer is open behind the music. So the document, there you go. Yeah, so the document.
Better? Okay,
Yeah,
good.
better.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Oh, I see. I've got 2 screens. Okay, that's weird. Okay, here we go. So let's try playing this then. 1, 1, 1, 1, 5, 4, 4, 1. Now we're going to switch to the 4th finger on the same note, and off we go again. 4, 1, 2, 2, 5. Now I'm going to go back to my B flat pattern or my B pattern with the thumb back on the F again. And remember, the B is the bottom note. Here we go. 1, 4, 4, 4, 4. How are we doing so far? Thumbs kind of this way, thumbs up, thumbs down. I can't see you all. Can somebody else tell me if that's all right mostly? Okay, let's try it again. Maybe somebody else would like to unmute and play along with me. That could be kind of fun. It'll sound like happy birthday. 1, 2, off we go. Switch to the 4th finger on the same note. 4, 1, 2, 2, 5. Back to the thumb on the F. 4, 4, 4, 4. And you'll sort of catch on that these notes go a little faster than the others. That's just, I think you understand the rhythm of this hymn pretty well. Now, look what happens next. This is really cool. There we've got the Fs again in a row. our rhythm is long, long, short, short, long. Same rhythm as this is actually. And then we're going to go C. And here's just a little tiny, tiny, tiny little glitch. We no longer play the B flat for a minute. We play the B natural. So we just stay on the white key B there. So that's going to sound like this. Half step down, stay there and come back. So that's just a lovely little excursion, not too far outside your front porch kind of thing. So there. Ya, ta, ti, ta. So let's try that third line now. From the F to off we go. And now we're going to stay right where we are. We play the E, which is the step just below the F. So we go second finger, 2, 1, 4, 4, 4. You stay there. And then here we end up. And that's how it ends. You'll notice here at the end another kind of a weird symbol. These circles with dots in them. I used to, when I was a kid, call them, I don't know, elephants or they look sort of like a little eyeball or something there. So elephant eyes. These happen toward the end of a phrase, usually in hymn singing tradition that you're in. And so that's showing the ends of a phrase. It also shows where a note is held a little longer. So in the tradition of Inuk, as you heard Binny sing it, these last 3 notes were just a little bit longer than the other ones are. So that's the way we
David?
do that. Yep.
I wanted to mention that when I was singing it, I found the end of the verses was too long because that's not how we sing it.
Okay. So we can do it can you show us how you sing it, Vinny?
It's faster. Like
So it
the
goes-
way that I sung it, like the way that it was played for me, the ending was longer than how it.
Okay. So it should be like this. Da 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 da. Is that how you
Just
do
let
it?
me find it a bit. Like say. Ipunga init sa singitutut. That's how it is. Like,
Yeah.
but the way I sung it on your recording was like singitutut.
Okay.
But that's not how we do it.
So let's do it the way we should do it. Let's do it your way. Okay, that's just fine. So you know what, guys? We're going to ignore these things because that's all that they tell us. So those, we'll just pretend they're not there and they'll sound like this. That's great. No, thank you so much for letting me know. Okay, so I think we're ready to try this. Sorry, what did you say, Binny?
I should have mentioned it earlier, but I didn't know it was going to be that big a deal.
It's not a big deal. It's fine.
Whitney, I thought you were saying it different in name.
That's what I thought too. I wondered about that.
No.
Well,
No.
we'll just eradicate these, so that's okay, and we'll switch it in the videos when we do them. Let's try the whole last line, folks. We'll go from the E note, which should be here with your second finger, and then up there. Then we go down to the C and then back. So look at how many notes we've got to play. 1, 2, 3 different pitches. That's it. Here we go, and the last line. Ya dun ti da 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 da, and then just Binny's way. Let's be how it finishes off. Okay, that's fantastic. So let's try it all the way from the beginning to the end.
I have a question first.
Yep. Okay, go ahead, Sabina.
When you're sliding over, where is your, okay, you're in the position now, but when you're sliding over, where's your number 5 going?
You mean here in the second part? It's going to be on
Yes.
the E. You see the E there?
Okay, so the 5 will be E.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep, that's good. And then that becomes an E 5-finger pattern. So this
Yeah.
piece of music uses a B finger pattern and an E finger pattern, and then that's all you need for this one. Again,
okay,
very
thank you.
very simply constructed. Okay, let's go
Yeah.
from the beginning. You're welcome. I'm happy to answer questions. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, off we go. Do, da, 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 D, D, C, F. We move over to the 4th finger. 4, 1, 2, 2, 5. Back to the 1st finger on the F. 4, 4, 4, 4. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. For this little half step. Ya, di, ta, ta. And then 2nd finger on the C to the F. C, C, C. And then it's all easy after this. And you end up back home. How'd that go? We got thumbs to see. I'm going to stop sharing so I can see all your smiling faces. How do we do with that? Is that okay? Getting there? Might take a bit of practice. It'll come. Before
I
we,
just have a quick question.
yeah, go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
you're going to switch to the E when you want your pinky finger 5 on what is that? No. Okay, I'm lost.
When the 4th finger's on the F, Sabina, that's the one you're playing now. If you put your 4th finger on that pitch, then the 5th finger will be on the E right next door. So 4th finger here, 5th finger there.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Got
You'll get
it.
it. You'll get it.
Got it,
And
got
it just, what I would suggest is, over the next few days, just practice going from one pattern to another. And as you find your way around the keyboard, it gets really, it becomes more, you get used to that.
Okay.
Let's try playing the melody now. And then I'll take a little break from this, but let's have a look at the melody. And so I'm going to show you that. Just have to share a screen. There we go. And we'll take that one. And that's it. Okay, so now we've got our melody here. So this is going to be played in the right hand. And again, there are 5 finger patterns to deal with here. But let's have a look at them first before we play them. So the G finger pattern, what I was thinking as I was thinking about this, I love picking berries. And sometimes berries are hard to find. You know, my favorite berries to pick are wild strawberries. They're very small and they're sort of hidden under things. And I have to have clues what to look for in order to be able to find the berries. Some berries are easier to find than others. So in music, we can look for clues. And when we're looking for 5 finger pattern clues, in other words, when you want to be able to do this, the thing to look for is over a melody. For example, this melody, we're starting on this note and we can know that it's called A, and Ms. Kelly's going to be talking a little bit about that. And we learn to be able to recognize these pitches, these notes, and where they're going to be on the keyboard. And when I look over this melody, I see that it's doing this 3 in a row. It's going up here. We talked about that being 3 notes, 1, 2, 3. This is next door, and that's coming back. And then look, the highest note is here, and the lowest note is here. And look how far apart they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a 5-note pattern. And that's how I know to put the lowest note is the G. So we're going to call the finger pattern by the lowest note. And in this case, the lowest note, the G, is going to be our thumb in the right hand. So can you find the G on the keyboard? And of course, G is 1 step above F. We know where F is. Bottom of the 3 group of 3, the G is right here, right next door. So G for Gordon, that's where you find Dr. Tom Gordon, that's his note. So we have to be able to find that one. So this is right here, okay? So if that's my G, then I have the other fingers right above that in that pattern. And by knowing that, I'm able to play then the whole first melody of Enoch very, very simply. the little tiny thing to remember then is we're using that B flat. So your third finger is going to go on that same black note that was in the left hand. So that's going to sound like this. Actually, the 5-finger pattern will sound like this. And the tune here for Enoch is this, starting on the second finger, the A. Do you want to try playing that with me? That's 2, 2, 2, 4, 5, 4, 1, 3, 2 if you need fingers. Here we go. And off we go. Fantastic. Now, we already heard Sabina play this a while ago. Sabina, would you be willing to play it again for us all?
Just that section?
Just that section, that'd be great. And we can play along with her.
Okay, I just.
Take your time. Good, that's great. Let's do that again with Sabina. Here we go. 1, or Sabina, can you count us in so we know when we start? Give us 4.
Oh my gosh. You count and then I'll
Okay,
go
I'll
with
count it in and you do it. Sorry, that's too much to take on, isn't it? 1, 2, off you go. Well done. That's fantastic. Let's do that one more time with me. And here we go. Together. And. Very good. Now,
Oh, you're using the black key, are you? For the B?
Yep.
Okay.
And so were you. You were using it. It was fine.
I wasn't using it, I was using the other one.
Sounded okay. We're going to just go for a tiny quick excursion here to the high F. So again, you know where Fs are. You're going to play F, D, C. So that's high F with your 5th finger, down a 3rd to the 3rd finger, and C with your 2nd finger. Let's just try those 3 notes. And. One more time, till it feels really easy. Good. Now, here's another one of these finger replacement things. So I'm going to go from my 2nd finger there to my 4th finger on the same note. And that helps me find myself back on the G pattern. It's just so elegant. So I'll play it for you. 2 becomes 4. And we just stay in that G pattern. Okay, let's try that with me. 2, 3, and 4. Very good. Now what happens is, I just have to change hands. Actually, let me do it this way. I can try doing this with my left hand. So now what happens is here, we're already in the G pattern, and that means our C has got a 4th finger, and I play this. So here's where we use the B, what we call the B natural. We go right next door to that C, just like we did in the bass line, the left-hand part. So it's here, up, down, down, up. And there's G. And now look, my friends, here's another example of a finger replacement. 1 changes to 3, and then we just walk down the scale. And now I'm in an E finger pattern. Got my B flat back here. And then here's how it finishes off. And we end up there. And the really good news is, because this is for Easter time for Palm Sunday, you have about 4 weeks to learn how to play it. So if it's a little challenging, it's going to come, and there's lots of time to get there. So I'm going to leave it at that, and we'll come around again at the end and maybe try to play it again right at the very end today. But I'd love to let Kelly do a little bit of stuff now. So I'll turn this off and she'll take over. Thank you so much, folks.
Hi, everybody. Nicholas, I love that you're wearing your Pan Lab sweatshirt. I have mine just right there. I hope everybody's doing well. Tomorrow's Friday. Woo, woo, woo. David, did you get to have any fun today for your birthday?
Did I get to have any fun? I have fun all the time. So yeah, I've had fun today. I had fun with my dog this morning. We went playing Frisbee and that was great fun. She's always fun. And then we played catch the snowball in your mouth. She has to catch it in her mouth. So she's really good at that too.
And I hope you get some birthday cake.
I think something happened out in the kitchen. I think I'm not supposed to know.
So everyone, what I thought I might do tonight is just kind of go back and start at the beginnings of the very, very beginnings of reading music and kind of reading sheet music. And I know some people probably have some experience with this and some people probably have none. So I'm sorry if some people already know all of what I'm going to do tonight. I'm only going to take a few minutes because I know we also have to have a chat about what's happening in the next part of this amazing project. But I thought I would go back and just kind of review what we would call the fundamentals or the foundations of music theory. And I'll start by I think hopefully everybody can see this. You can see the sheet that I downloaded and then also drew on, that you can tell that I have doctored it to also include the bass clef. It's funny, so many theory sheets, so many sheets that start talking about music only include the treble clef. And especially as you're learning piano and learning left hand on the piano, the bass clef is really important. So the clefs, they are spoken about quite often, and what they mean is that they help you identify what kind of an instrument you're playing and how high or how low the notes are. So if you are playing in the treble clef, which is this right here, then that means the notes are higher. And that's why you read treble clef in your right hand, because the notes on the piano are higher. And then here's the bass clef. That's for the instruments or the voices that sing lower, and that's why your left hand is lower on the piano and it reads the bass clef. So for example, treble clef, if I was a violin player or a flute player or a soprano, this is the clef that I would be learning to read music from. If I was a bass in the choir, or if I was a cello player or a trombone player, this is the clef that I would be using. So those are the two clefs. There are other clefs, but as piano players, you don't have to learn any other clefs, just these two. And the clefs, you'll tell that they are on these 5 lines. And so the staff that you're reading from, so you've seen David put up the music notes and you've seen those music you've seen those music sheets, that every single staff will have 5 lines. And I'll just actually, let me do this. 5 lines, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we always start counting from the bottom. This is 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, and line 5. And then they have 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is with any staff that you ever see. That's what you'll always be able to recognize, that it has 5 lines and 4 spaces. And a really cool thing, if you go way, 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 way back, it actually, people started reading music with their hands, and they used these as, people would show these as the notes. So you sang this note, or this note, or this note, or this note. So this tradition of 5 lines and 4 spaces is connected to, to many, 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 many years ago. So I'm going to switch now to another sheet. And again, I downloaded this one, which I thought was really great. We'll start with the treble clef. So David also, and Tom also earlier talked about there being about 7 numbers that you'll work with. And those numbers basically relate to letter names. And there are only 7 letters in the musical alphabet. And those 7 letters, they repeat again and again and again. So if you look at your keyboard, let's start like at the beginning of the actual alphabet, you know, when people learn how to read A. In music, you know, the musical alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then you start again, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Or if you wanted to start on C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. So it goes around and around and around. You only ever have to know those note names. And I think that's one thing that's really important to remember, that you have those 7 note names to work with. And then, I'll talk a little bit about this later, probably not tonight. Those note names, sometimes they go a little bit higher, and that's when you see a sign that looks like this. Let me get this up. That's a sharp sign, and it breaks my heart these days when I put this in front of kids and they say, oh, that's a hashtag, Miss Kelly. That's a sharp sign, and that means it goes, the note will go sharper. So I also equate it to a pin. If you were to like touch your hand on a pin, it goes sharper. So when you put a sharp sign on a note, it goes higher. So if you touch your hand on a pin, your hand is going to go up. Automatically, you're going to bounce up. Or if somebody puts a pin on your chair, you're automatically going to bounce up. But if you take that pin and you put it in a tire, it goes flatter, it goes lower. And that's the other sign that you'll see. And you've seen that on your music. So again, sharper means it goes higher, and flatter means that it goes lower. I know I'm going really quickly, but these are just, again, some of the things that you've already been looking at and that you've been reading on your music sheet, on your music notes. So down here a little further, it talks about the names of the notes. And it's funny, everybody has different ways of remembering the names of the notes. So I don't know how many of you remembered, if you ever did a class in trying to remember all the names of the lines, these ones right here, the notes that are on the lines. Some people say, every good boy deserves fudge. Right here, they say, elephants go bouncing down freeways. So there's, and I don't know anyone who has not had to learn the names of the notes by having this and remembering going, every good boy deserves fudge, E, G, B, D, F. So basically, it's just a way of remembering the name of the note. And this one is always the same. It spells face, F-A-C-E. Now we can do the bass clef as well. But does anyone else have another cool kind of saying for these to remember the names of the notes?
I say Ernie gave Bert dog food.
Ernie gave Bert dog food. Okay, I love that one too.
For the treble clef lines.
Anybody else?
Because I found the fudge one is for the it could be used another time, but that one's also really catchy.
Ernie gave Bert dog food. Okay.
Ernie gave Bert dog food. Yeah.
I love that.
I like empty garbage before Dad freaks.
Empty garbage before Dad freaks.
Or Elvis's guitar broke down Friday.
Elvis's guitar broke down Friday. These are fabulous. So these are ways to start to remember those names of the notes. And they're a really useful way to do that. In actual fact, I know many people will go into a theory exercise or something, and they'll write out on their, on the side of their music like this, and they'll write the notes out like that, and they'll put, Ernie gave Bert dog food, so that then they can, once you get that and you establish that, then you can start to do it without having to count it out. But it's completely okay, 1,000,000% okay, to have to do that first. All right, now oops.
Can I just mention something too?
Please.
When the students are getting used to the flats and the sharps, always remember F becomes for S in the alphabet. So F and then S. Flat
Oh,
and then
that's
sharp.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That's fabulous. One of the things that I'm just going to quickly mention is that you'll notice down here the stems of the notes, and sometimes they go up and sometimes they go down. There's actually a rule for that. So if you notice that that's the middle line right there, any of the notes below that middle line, you'll always see that the stems go up, and any notes above that line, the stems go down. And if it's on that line, you can go either way. Okay, so that's just a little bit of information, because some people always go, well, how do I know if those stems are up or down? So again, if they're below the line, they go up. If they're above the line, they go down. And then in the middle, you can go either way. Don't I have the greatest penmanship? It's so bad. It's so bad. It's always been like that. Not going to change now. Okay, so how about if we do an activity, and I'm going to ask people to be brave and answer some of these. Mostly help me not feel like I'm all here by myself. So without using the previous page, can somebody tell me what are the missing letters? Right here, number 1. What comes after A? Just yell it out.
B.
Thank you. Or, I don't have this on. C, D.
E.
Next one.
F.
G, A, B.
C.
D, E.
F. G.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for doing that. So I actually have these pages that I'm going to give to Deantha to put on the Facebook page for people who want to practice this. And then of course the next one is G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. So this kind of practice of really ingraining, these are only 7 letters, and no matter what letter you start on, they go to the next letters and then they start again. What I really like about this particular one is that down here, it connects it to what it looks like on the actual staff. So let's take a look at this. E, F, what's the next one? Anybody? Anybody?
G.
Thank you. And that's what the G looks like. You'll also notice that they're putting, if I were to put circles around this, that would be exactly where those notes are on the staff. And that's G. Then we have an A and a B. What's the next one?
E.
A, B. That's it. That's a C right there. D, what comes after D?
E.
Got it. F is right here. And what comes?
E.
G.
Am I not, could you not hear me that whole time?
No, I just lost you for a second there, right at the end.
Yeah, just at the end.
Right. Okay, so it muted. I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it.
No,
Okay.
no, it was just for a second.
All right. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask somebody else. Again, I know this may seem a little bit like, oh, this takes a bit of time or may not be exciting, but I want to remind you that theory, it's like anything. It's not like reading something and having that knowledge. So all of a sudden you read you read a book, or you read something, or you read a post and you learn something new. Theory is about small steps and building on those small steps. So we talked about lines and spaces. This is a really great activity to look at the lines and spaces. So right here, this one is a space. Can somebody tell me what this one is?
F.
Oh, sorry, I didn't explain that very well. Is it a line or a space? I'm sorry.
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's me. I'm still a little bit nervous. So this note right here, see how that's inside? So that's called a space. And if a note goes around this, that's on a line. So what's this one right here?
Line.
Got it. Thank you. And what's this one right here?
Line.
Got it. And what's this one right here?
Space.
Yeah, amazing. And this one is a
Line.
line. Thanks so much, everybody. You're making me feel a lot more comfortable by helping out and answering. You're so kind. What's this one?
Space.
Space, that's it. And this one?
Line.
A line, amazing. And this one is?
Space.
Space, you got it. And the last one?
I can't see it.
It's a line.
Line.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to ask, there's one thing that I find really fun is spelling. You can actually spell words. So can somebody look at, but I'm going to cheat over here, if you remember. This is Ernie gave Bert dog food, and we're going to do one of these, and this is F-A-C-E. Can somebody tell me what's the name of this note right here?
B.
Got it? And what is the name of this right here?
E.
Yeah. And what's this one right here?
D.
Yeah. So we spell the word. I love these. And so the very last thing, I think because of time, I am going to, oh, wait. I have this exact same thing for the bass clef, but because of time, I won't do the bass clef, but you will have that you can look at. I'm going to do this right here. Let me see. Is there any of these sentences? Right here. Number 3. Put a smile on your, and let's see if you can do it without, or I'll put that right here. But I won't put the notes in. All right. What's this note right here? This one here, sorry.
If you're doing number 3, you got to go down, isn't it?
Oh, do I?
Or,
how's that?
oh, I'm sorry. No, you're right.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
F.
Oh, no. Okay,
F.
so that note, yeah, that note is F. What's this note right here?
A.
Yeah. What about this one right here?
D.
Yeah, perfect. And this one is?
E.
Yay! Put a smile on your face. So and of course I have to do my plug for Breezing Through Theory. The whole first chapter is naming all of these notes in the treble and the bass clef. So I have those PDFs that start, and you can read and you can fill in if you want. And I'll give those to Diantha, and it's got explanations of everything too for both the treble and the bass clef. And they go a little bit further than this, and they start talking about rhythms and stuff like that. But that was fantastic. Thanks everybody so much, and thank you so much for calling out the names and all of those things. That was really fabulous. All right, I'll pass it back now to Tom or David.
Thank you, Kelly. That was great. And again, that's all of that material. Those worksheets are going to be on the Facebook page very soon, and you can use those to play around and test yourself and keep moving. So we're going to flip back now to David, and David's going to take us through a little bit more at the keyboard before we finish off for tonight.
Okay. So getting back to our keyboard, let's just have a little roll of the shoulders. Always good to do. I'm going to share my screen again, and we're going to have a look at another new concept here. And I'm just going to sort of give you this because we don't have enough time to really delve into it, but just to show you something. And this is where a kind of direction we can take in the next steps. So I'm going to ask you to take your left hand and I'm going to ask you to find that note. Does anybody want to tell me what the name of that note is in the left hand?
B.
That's close. It's actually the first and last letter of my first name. That's a hint.
D.
There you go. Okay. So there's an example of a D. Can we all find the D on the piano? And the D, and this will come, again, as Kelly said, these are all things that are, eventually you just get it. It's fine. But I know right now it's a lot. So the
Can
D
I just ask a question before you move on?
Sure.
Is
Yep.
your left hand always the bass clef?
Most of the time. Yeah, most of the time. We never say anything in music always, because as soon as you have that, somebody has an exception. But for the most part, yes, that's the way the left hand will be playing a lot of the time in the bass clef. Exactly. That's a great question. So the D is between the group of two, between the twins, right in the middle. And that's our D note on the piano. So can you all play that with your fifth finger? There it is. Can you find another one somewhere else? And maybe another one even higher. And another one way down in the basement. The lowest one you can find. They're all over the place. So a game you can play with yourself then is, can I find all the Ds? Because that's a good anchor thing to be able to find. Where can I put down my anchor hand? So the fifth finger on the D, doesn't matter which one, let's use that one. Now, I'm going to ask you to play, it's not quite a 5-finger pattern here, but it's going to become one. So I'm going to ask you to play up 4 pitches. So D, E, F, and G. So this one here is a G. And then you're going to go up 3 pitches, the G, the A on the line, up to this B up here. And that sounds like this. And that, as I was saying last night, is a second inversion triad. Let's not worry about it right now, but it's something we can return to. So we'll just let it be called that. And I'm playing, right now I'm playing them all at the same time. But if I break them up, I can make it sound like this. And if you remember, that's amazing. It's the first part of Amazing Grace, right there. So can we all play that broken triad? And 5, 2, 1, and sing amazing while you do it. And amazing. Yeah, it's not quite the way it looks really in the melody, but that's how it sounds. Now, let's look at the next key here. The next set of keys, I should say, the next set of notes. Here we have a 5 note on the same note on the D. You leave it there. Now I'm going to ask you to play this F sharp, and I think it was Doris said, yeah, if it's a sharp, it goes higher. So the F is here on the white key, F sharp is above it. There we go. And then our thumb is right on this A. It's moved from here down to here. So that's a D 5-finger pattern, but we're only playing the bottom, the middle, and the top. So let's play that now together. 5, 3, 1. So now I'm going to ask you to do this. You're going to play that broken triad, followed by this broken triad. I'll play it with you. So we're on the D, going up to G, going up to B, stay on the D, you move down to the 3rd finger there, and the thumb comes here. Here we go. That's fabulous. That sounded perfect. Let's do it one more time. And look there. Remember we talked about same and different? Well, there's another one that's the same as that. So we're going to go back to this one again. And now next to that is something entirely different. And what we're going to do is go so that my fifth finger moves now up to here. My third finger is replacing my second finger. And I'm going to reach up to there with my thumb on this C. And we end up with this. So I'm going to make a video of this so that you can play along with my left hand, because it's something I'd love us to be able to practice. And the reason is, if we can do these broken triads and we can do them solidly in this pattern, I'll play it for you with all of them together. Kind of continue to repeat those. These make a really useful pattern in the left hand for being able to create harmony. Much as you play on a guitar or any other, or an accordion even, you're playing chords like these to accompany things. And they're what I call them related triads. They're triads that are like cousins of the G. So something to practice. And it's to practice en route to being able to do this. There. To being able to play Amazing Grace. So I'd like you to play with me. And I'm going to play the left hand, which is using these same chords that you just had. You can try the melody. We already heard the melody being played really, really well. Remember, it's starting on the D in the right hand. You've got that triad. There. I can't do that and play. There. And there we go to show you. And this goes here. And then we change to the G position. So let me just see if we can play it. And we'll leave it as something to be used up over the next while. So here we go. My right hand is here. My left hand is here. And we get these lovely chords underneath very slowly. 1, 2, 3, off we go. And then we've got this pattern happening underneath again. And then a nice little ending. Sounds like amen. And you have a really beautiful accompaniment to this beautiful song. So there are some videos of that you can learn to play along with. And I promise over time that will come to you very, very, very beautifully. So these triads, as we were talking about last night, they have all these names, all this stuff, a lot of theory, but some of this will come as you just continue to play with them. And I promise it becomes a little clearer over time. I was thinking that often what happens, you know, we have a lot of stuff we want to know about things, but what we really want to do is just play the piano. That's really what matters. So if you can just get yourself playing the piano, and then we can learn about what all these things are called and how they work out eventually over time. It's a bit like when you know, if somebody gave you a new car and they said you had to learn how to change the oil, change the tires, fix the battery, do all kinds of stuff in the engine before you could drive it anywhere. Well, it wouldn't be a lot of fun. You really just want to drive the car. So I'm hopeful that you'll feel comfortable to play the melodies. Some folks are playing the melody in their left hand, and that's fantastic. And another little challenge will be, well, maybe we can learn to change the oil and put a left hand in that's a chord pattern like in a guitar. Before I finish for the night, we're just right up to time, but I just want to show you where we're going with Enoch. It's such a beautiful melody. And can I show you how easy it's going to be. Ultimately, practice it with just your right hand, practice it with just your left hand, really slowly. And with the Bini ending, the real ending, not this ending, we'll fix that in the video, and then you can put them together, and you begin to see that there's a lovely pattern here, which sounds gorgeous. So that's actually not too hard to do. Let's have a go. Either play the right hand or the left hand, or if you want to be adventurous, play both. Let's see what happens just at the beginning. And I'll make this just a bit bigger because it's pretty tiny, isn't it? There. How's that? Okay, so
Better.
we're going to start with the F in the left hand in the B flat pattern. We're going to start with the second finger on the A in the right hand, which is a G 5-finger pattern. So it's kind of cool. You got different patterns going, but they work together. There's like a team. So here we go. And you can see my fingers, I think, there. All right. And then we'll stop for the night. So 2, 3, and 4. And it would go on and be beautiful, and it will go all through all these other little motions not too far away. And then look how lovely it is when it ends. And it ends together at the very end. So you're going to be able to do that guaranteed as we go forward. So, and we have until Easter to learn it. So there's lots of time. I'm going to stop there because I'm aware that I've gone right up to the end of time, and Tom still wants to talk a little bit. So Nakumik, for your patience. You're so brave. It's a lot to take in. But again, you're lucky that it's such beautiful music to work on. I think that's what the best part is. They're all such gorgeous melodies and for gorgeous reasons. So, hey, there we are. So thank you.
Thank you, David. And thank you to all of you for being so brave to go through all of what we've challenged you to do over the last 4 nights. I can't get over how much progress people have made. In our drop-in tonight, we heard so many people playing so beautifully. And I know that sometimes this is a big challenge. Sometimes it's a little frustrating, but David is absolutely right. It'll come, and just keep plugging away at it. So I wanted to spend just a couple of minutes now to talk about what happens next. You've been really generous with your time over the last 4 nights. And so we want to give you a little bit of a break from meeting with us each evening. But don't forget that all of those wonderful play along videos are available on the YouTube site, and you can use those to practice every day. Pick the ones that are ones that you can do, or ones that can challenge you just a little bit more, and work your way through the hymns that we've been working on. Melody alone, melody and bass together, melody with chords, whatever you feel ready to do. But set your own challenges as you're working at that. Also, the theory worksheets that Miss Kelly was showing us, I see that they're already up on the Facebook site. So those are going to be there, and you can use those to work on your own a little bit to move things along. But that doesn't mean that we're abandoning you, not at all. What we'd like to do next week, and we'll be in touch with you each one individually, is set up a time where either David or Diantha or myself can meet with you one-on-one. So each person by yourself for about 15 or 20 minutes over a Zoom call. And what we're going to ask you to do during that call is to play something you feel good about playing already, something that you feel like, I think I've got this now. And we'll get a chance to hear that and give you some feedback. We'll also give you a chance to say, I'm having trouble with this thing. Can you show me how to do this? Can you show me an easier way to do it? We'll have time to get your questions. And again, we're going to do this one-on-one. So we'll kind of work through to get a sense of where you are. And then very importantly, to ask you what you want to do next. What are the things, what are your goals in this over not only the next weeks, but in the long term? How far do you want to get with it? How much time do you think you can commit to it? So we're going to, as I said, I'll be in touch via email and ask each one of you for a time where we could get together for, 15, 20 minutes to go through all of this and see where things are. After we've had a chance to meet with each of you, what we're going to do, starting not next week, but the week after, the week of March the 15th, is to meet once a week with a small group. So probably about 7 or 8 people in a group. And we'll try to put people together who are working at about the same skill level and who have the same goals, so that I know that some of you already have an ability to read music. Some of you can already play some of the hymns. So we'll put you together. And then there'll be people who are feeling good about playing a tune with the right hand. And are just starting to get a sense of how to read music or wanting to do it by ear. We'll put you in a group together as well. And so after we've had this chance to meet with you one-on-one next week, we'll put those groups together. We'll find one night a week where each group can meet for about an hour. And then we'll start moving forward in those smaller groups. In the meantime, those of you who want to sign up for Breezing Through Theory, and again, we hope that's all of you, but nobody has to feel like you have to. Those of you who want to do that, we will register you. And then once you're all registered, we'll send you the information so you can start working on your own on that program. But we will also have Daniel and Anna, who've been here with us in these meetings, available to you as people who can respond to questions if you're having trouble using the program, or if there's something that just isn't really clear to you. They'll be a message away from being able to give you some help with it. Okay, so a couple of things that are really important right now. If you haven't responded to that survey, or if you can't respond to the survey that's that link, please let us know if you do want us to sign you up for Breezing Through Theory. And the sooner you let us know, the sooner we can get everybody signed up. Second thing is, I'll send a message around either tomorrow or over the weekend asking you what would be a good time for us to set up to have a meeting next week. Okay, and like I said, we'll schedule individual meetings. It'll be either with David or Deantha or myself, and we'll have a chance to listen and talk a little bit together. So when you do get that message, please respond when you can, and keep practicing. Keep going to that YouTube site, and those play along videos are really helpful. I think they're going to get you to a better place if you keep at them. Only has to be 5-10 minutes at a time. In a perfect world, 5 minutes 3 times a day would be absolutely ideal, but do what you can, do what works. Okay, so that's the outline of what's ahead, but I'm sure there are people with questions, so please, if you've got a question, now's a good time to ask.
I'm just wondering how I'm just wondering how long is this program? Like, is it weeks or months, or how long is it?
Good question. Just a sec. The answer is it'll be as long as you want it to be, and as long as it needs to be to get you to where you want to go. We've got this set up in an open-ended way. We'd like to, for sure, work with everybody who's here, at least up till Easter. Our goal was to make you feel you could play something, a hymn at Easter, maybe not in church, but at least for yourself. And then once we get past Easter, maybe we'll take a little week-long break at that point. Then we can start up again. and we're prepared to carry this on, for months at a time. We want to get people to where they want to be, and so there's no specific end to this program right now. Anyone else?
When you were saying that someone's gonna call or inbox us to play,
Yep.
does it matter if we can play with two hands or just the one
No,
yet?
no. Like I said, I want you to play what you feel good about playing. All right, what you feel comfortable about playing. And so, no, it doesn't matter at all. What we want to do is find out where you are, and what help you need to get to where you want to go.
You might find that you don't feel very good about playing a whole part. Just play the first part of a melody or something. Whatever you're comfortable with, just so we can get a sense of where you are and where we can go, where we can all go together. So it's not like a test at all.
No, not at all.
Exam. No mark.
No,
And there's
absolutely.
no judgment. No.
No judgment. No.
No, the idea is to figure out how we can help you to take the next step that you want to take. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today is the 4th, right? The 4th of March.
Yep.
I'm back in Voices on Friday the 12th, weather depending. And then I'm in there for 2 weeks, so I get out on the 26th of March. I'm hoping while I'm in Voices, there's no real access to a keyboard, but I'll be able to get at the theory part and the reading part at that time. And then when I get out again, I can get back to the keyboard. But I'm just letting you know, when you phone me next week, I leave on Friday the 12th.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you, Sabina. We'll try to meet with everybody as early in the week as we can. So like I said, I'll send out a message via email, and we'll set up those meetings as soon as we can.
And
Okay.
Sabina, I do a lot of practicing without any keyboard. I just use my fingers on a table, and that's as good in some ways, because you're not worried about the wrong notes, but you're getting your fingers to move. And so that's sometimes half of the challenge, is which finger goes where. And
It's
you don't have to worry about
exercising those piano fingers too.
Yeah, you can absolutely practice on your knees if you want. So.
And my wife says I sound much better when I'm playing on the table than when I'm at the piano.
Like when we turn off our microphone and we play and sing.
That's right. Anybody else with a question?
I'm just wondering about there was people who signed up and got keyboards and they're not attending. If someone else could take their place.
Certainly. If there's anybody who has missed everything, I'm going to get in touch with them right away and see, do they still, intend to participate? If they don't, and if they have a keyboard, we'll try to get that back. And then if there's someone else who would like to participate, we can certainly transfer that.
Because I know here in Maine, Simeone wanted to attend and he didn't get a keyboard, but I think he might have an organ in his house.
Yeah, well, that would be fine. That would be absolutely fine. Yeah.
Okay.
If Simeone has a internet connection into his house?
He must is on Facebook all the time.
Of course, right.
We can help him. Who doesn't I'm happy to meet with them or something, or Tom.
Simeone already has a lot of keyboard skills, so
yeah.
He has a phone, but I don't know if he actually has a computer. But I mean, he still has internet access.
Yeah.
I just uses my phone. I only uses my phone for this, so there's nothing wrong with using the phone.
Yeah. Okay. Benny, if you're talking with him, if you could ask him to get in touch with me, because I don't have contact information for him.
Yeah. Okay.
That'd be great. Yeah. Good. Anybody else with a question? Okay, so I'll be in touch very soon, and we'll set up those meetings for next week. Keep practicing. You guys have done absolutely fantastic. And so stay with it. And all those resources are available to you through the Facebook and the YouTube site. And have fun with it. Okay. Nakamik, everybody. See you soon.
Atunay.
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 Atunay, nakamik.